to me, it's a thrill ride. And so the Willows was this thing to like sort of be this hybrid of, dinner theater meets sort of interactive escape room adventure meets with like a really heavy drama with a great ghost story under it all. It's exceptional. You got every sort of character that you would want at a dinner party. The same principal cast that we had when we built this thing. Can you believe how much life, how much understanding how much they've seen? So like they know it. The world feels so rich and texturally there that at the end of the day, like you as a participant, you just like need to show up and learn to play again as an adult. A full night out, if you will, right? Like dinner, a show, drinks, some new connections along the way, some new friends, if you will.
Welcome back to today's conversation. We are talking with Justin Fix. The company is called JFI Productions. This year they're doing The Willows. Justin, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
In efforts of introducing what we're going to talk about, I'm just going to read two lines from the marketing memorabilia. One of North America's most talked about immersive theater experiences is returning, The Willows, the emotionally gripping, dark, and sophisticated production. An interactive psychodrama casts visitors as dinner guests at a sinister Los Angeles mansion. Now, obviously, this is Halloween based. It's starting up soon. Last week, I had the privilege of going to a preview with some of the biggest names in horror and Halloween media. And what was
Yay.
exciting for me, yes, dude, incredible invite. And what I was most excited about is in line getting ready to go in, people that if you love Halloween and horror, these are the media that you always read about. And some of them are literally vibrating with excitement. It was such an energy outside. And they most of them had gone to last year's, and all they kept asking about was what's going to be in store this year. So everyone's saying last year was amazing. This year is even better. How did you approach this year looking for ways to upgrade the experience?
Yeah, so the Willows has been a long run, right? I think your group that you went into, if they had been to the property in which you attended the Willows on, we did a show called Ghosts with CBS Studios last year, and it was the same venue that we occupied this year for the Willows. The Willows in like seasons past has been exclusively at another property, and it has been its own entity. But we originated as creators and storytellers in the haunted house space. So we were always producing sort of a spin on the haunted house during the fall season, which was, September through November, if you will. And so we had a show called Creep LA, and we have a show called Creep LA, and we've done 8 seasons of it. And the Willows was originally mounted in February of 2017. It was not even in our eyes like to fall in line with sort of the fall. It was more to sort of win sort of the appetite of like the murder mystery consumer and be able to sort of like branch horror and scare and sort of immersive storytelling outside of sort of the seasonal affair where we just see this like boom of entertainment and then it all seems to go away. We wanted to extend that. And so the Willows was this thing to like sort of be this hybrid of, dinner theater meets sort of interactive escape room adventure meets with like a really heavy drama with a great ghost story under it all. You know what I mean?
I understood. So obviously we're Halloween today, but are you looking at a year-round experience in the future, or are you current?
The goal is to like appease the appetite and to sort of launch during the Halloween space, but our vision has always been to have the Willows run. We've done a total of like 1,200 shows already of it in its original space, but we're here to stay. And so we hope to really open our doors and let this sort of intimate experience sort of run into the new year. And we'll plan to sort of launch 2026 tickets in no mid-November.
Outstanding. Good for you. That's having experienced it, you want to go back. I mean, I think all of us would have done it again right then immediately afterwards. So,
Aw. Yeah,
so
it's FOMO's a real human emotion, and that's a feeling as well. And I think that's a feeling of intrigue and investment. from your audience. And so that's a really big compliment. So thank you.
My pleasure. Speaking of that upgrade, can we talk about one, two, three things you very meaningfully wanted to add to the experience this year?
One of my dear friends came last week and kind of just said to us as a creative team, like it's the 4K version. It's like it's it's so different, right? The original story was written for that specific house. It was site specific.
Okay.
So like to sort of remaster it and bring it to a whole new space. And I'll tell you, like the home in which we used to once operate in was a
Mhm.
functional home. The home in which we occupy now was an empty space. So everything we filled that all it's like, it's like that's not real. So it's like we filled that whole home with so much life. So just to know that, like we accomplished that is amazing. And then we sort of like we started at a really as young artists, we started at a really sort of simple application of implementing scare. And it was really from like practical scares. And so with that though, we've now sort of advanced and are using technology to sort of bring sort of the magic and those like ghostly moments and keep them heightened through sort of sound and through lighting. And that is a way we've never really played with sort of spatial sound and stuff. Like that is also new. And then we like, a peek behind the curtain, we really listened to our audience and we know a lot more than we did in 2017 as storytellers and as interactors and just like responding and listening to our audience that we totally rewrote Act Three. So like, like so much over time and time and time again. I think we've just been sort of making this thing more dialed in and more tight, and I've trimmed the fat, and it just to me it's a thrill ride. You know what I mean? And that's really what I'm so proud of that we're able to do. So I would say everything has been rethought. If you saw it before for sure, but I don't think there is a comparison.
Without any spoilers, can you talk us a little bit about what's the storyline and as someone who's coming in, what's the storyline and what's the experience and what are people going to I mean, immersive is a vague word, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's absolutely the right word. But for someone who doesn't know, can you give us a glimpse?
Movies make you move, right? They like give you like, right? And like I feel like this immersive, interactive, site specific, I just call it theater. Theater sort of redefined, sort of expanding sort of theater in the round to 360. It's got this VR component as a user, right? You are like not an active participant, like you are your own self sort of uncovering the mystery and the secrets. And the more you give, the more you get, right? But at the end of the day, you and 24 other guests are invited to this house for a celebration of life, and you are sort of come across every sort of, family member as you would that is processing grief. And with that, it comes a lot of drama and tension and some scare. And with that, we've kind of took sort of if you were to think like a Tony and Tina's kind of model, like that sort of interactive theater in a sense, but like giving the giving literally the audience sort of the more agency to investigate and uncover like a detective would, to really, because there's an answer to everything. The history is rich, the character backgrounds are insane. It's like it's all built there, right? And I think it's supported by a cast that helped assemble these characters from day one. So after, to deal with the same principal cast that we had when we built this thing, can you believe how much life, how much understanding how much they've seen? So like they know it. The world feels so rich and texturally there that at the end of the day, like you as a participant, you just like need to show up and learn to play again as an adult and uncover, because it is this wild adventure. It's like I say to everyone, it's like cinema for the stage. It's kind of like stepping in to like it's stepping into a movie, and it's like, can you keep up? It's like kind of an A24 model. Like we're just going to kind of drop you into it, and it's up to you to uncover and sort of see the different point of views from every character line that you come across.
You've mentioned cast three times now, just subtly sprinkling the word in there. The cast is
Yeah.
amazing. The cast is amazing.
Incredible.
and it's so different in every way possible. Can you talk a little about maybe the characters, whatever you can say, non-spoiler wise, who's in the cast, and how did everyone connect with the company?
I feel so privileged to work around like some of the best in the industry, like especially for this remount, from a crew side, from a technical side, from a cast side. We've assembled some of the best that are producing work in the space, to kind of come together and to collaborate. And that's what this thing started as. It started as a collaboration of artists who assembled this beast of a show that we kept coming back to because we felt like it was changing people. It was having this emotional resonance in people. Along the way, it was healing us. We had lost so many members of our own family members through this process, and we were grieving and working through that grief and putting it on the stage, if you will, and healing people along the way. And I'm just so privileged, these people have been around since 2017. They're company members. They're people that have they're my friends. They're my family, ultimately. And with that, we held a casting. The show used to run and still will probably function with two casts, but we really used to run it with two different casts. For this remount, we really came out with one principal cast for efficiencies and everything, just to keep it streamlined. Um, but for the longevity of the show, that's probably something we'll have to bring back, to keep that keep the lifeline going. Um, but it's exceptional. You got every sort of character that you would want at a dinner party, from like, the grieving widow to like the manic maid to like the brutal butler to like the crazy cousin, to the angelic, you know, it's there, and it's like where whoever you align with, uh, it's just it's a fun moment. It's like what I would want a full night out, if you will, right? Like dinner, like a show, some drinks, and like some new connections along the way, some new friends, if you will. And with that, you guys have shared and share an experience that is yours alone and yours to tell. And I think that's why people end up on the grass after this thing, because there's so much interest, of like what you saw and what can I gain and learn from you. But within that, you guys went through a whole thing together. And so I think people just feel like the camaraderie, and they feel like they really kind of knew this guy, and they kind of grieved along each other, with this.
Like the first half of it, it felt very as it should. And then it just fell apart more and more. Obviously, it was scripted to fall apart, but it just got crazier and crazier. And
Kind of leaves you on your toes, right? It makes you really feel. I think that with the idea of like building suspense and tension, guests stay present. We as humans stay
yes.
present. It's like it's not passive, right? Like this experience asks a lot of you, and like puts people in situations, that maybe they've not been confronted for. That could be as simple as like dancing with a stranger, but like that even, is a thing, that will stick with people, you know?
That's the Dancing with a Stranger part that is an interesting memory. Talking about the narratives, and I'm going to start with my own feeling and then ask you. But as the second half of the evening went on, I ended up what I'm going to call a side quest, where I was by myself doing something. And what was interesting is after that was over, I was just kind of left on my own to like figure out where to be next. And as I got with other people, I found out other people had been on their own side quests. Some people were in groups, and that's exactly what happened, which was suddenly, while we're all in a room having a narrative, people are also whispering to each other, "What just happened to you? What just happened to you?" It was such a, it became such a mind F
Mm.
that it was like this is real life, but it's not. And then going back to the cast, I did not see a wink. I did not see a smile. I did not see a, hey, you're going to be safe. It's okay. There were moments where had I not had a ticket for this show, I would have been running for the door thinking, what is going on here? Like, this is,
Yeah.
it's like, it's beyond insane.
Yeah.
So,
Putting you in situations that you would never ever probably encounter.
so back to the narratives. I believe it says there's seven. I
Mm.
feel like there's probably 37 because everyone I talked to had an entirely different experience.
There's been a lot of thought and a lot of consideration. When we like to develop this thing took about 6 months. To track it took like 2 months. When we ran this thing, like for the first couple of years, we tracked every single guest journey, and it became too much to manage because we would have people come back. We had one woman come back 22 times because she wanted to see all, and there was enough beats in there to literally still provide her a new scene that she had still not came across. Like it's in there, but we then kind of had to pivot and say, "Oh my gosh, we are so custom, like it was so tailored that we couldn't manage that. It was not manageable anymore." But we wowed people with the possibility of how deep it is and how deep it goes. But yeah, so definitely a branching narrative. There's kind of like these two different tracks that you lean beyond, and then you sort of go across. Now, right, in this format, ideally it's like who you sit with, right? This is the first time at our old setup, you all sat at one table. This is like we did rounds this year because it was allowed more people to open up, creating that sort of social environment with strangers in the round. It's a much better conversation. And we wanted like sort of to have people be able to choose the track that they wanted to go on in a sense. So if they came back, then just simply sitting at the different table will allow you sort of a different way through. Because we wanted to, in a sense, commercialize it a little bit more, and streamline it. We added, basically five more bodies into this year's show, to make it run smoother and better. We had a bigger space to do that with.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's quite complex. Yeah, you can't see it all, and some people have no idea how much some people see. You know what I mean?
So the reality is you could do this, let's say 22 times, and each time have a almost completely different experience.
Yeah, I would say everyone gets kind of complete. It's the same story. It's the
Right.
same act structure. You're not going to come and see a whole new play,
Right.
but you will see a different storyline or POV depending on, again, what character and what rooms they take you into the home. Yes, there are definitely open branching. I would say how many scenes like are like really written in the thing. Yeah, like there is over 22 scenes,
Right.
so no one would ever.
And I just want to emphasize something to support what you just said, which is when I got back from my side quest and randomly got into another room, quite literally three of us in a row had all gotten into the room more or less the same time. And we
Hmm.
were all very briefly saying what just happened to us. And they were all entirely, not even like, I guess maybe things took place outside the house. I'm not even sure, to be honest. I don't know. But like three entirely different things just happened. It was so interesting. Uh, we may go back to that narrative in a moment, but when I was in that room, one of the actresses was telling us a story, and this goes to monologue versus improv, because the other thing is during the dinner part at our table, I was quieter because I thought I was in the audience watching. One person was a little bit louder talking, and one person, I would say, was deliberately reacting with
Playing along.
the manic character.
Yep.
And when they stopped, people were like, "Dude, you're messing with the play." He's like, I think, like, in his opinion, was no, that's part of it. Like they want the interaction. So should we be more audience, more interactive?
Yeah, we say there's like five different types of like audience members, right? There's the interactor, there's the interrupter, there's the interpreter, there's the like interactor, and then there's like the guy who's like the wallflower and like wants
Right,
to observe, right? So we're like, we just ask, I think what is exciting is that people get so invested and get so excited or are so bought in that like sometimes they think they're in the damn show, right? And they sort of take the show.
right,
Or some people, have one too many drinks and they think they're at the murder mystery where it's just like it's all just who killed and then it's like, right? It's like not as serious, right? I
right.
just would be like, I was be like, this is theater. Like, yes, your job as an audience member, like this show is built for you, right? Like the goal is to like play along, lean in, ask questions, but right, do it with respect, do it with consideration, be a decent human being, right? Like
Right.
that's part of the human experience, but it's like sometimes you people learn. And I think what and we're defining sort of this future of entertainment, right? I don't there's not another brand that I know is like acting and asking the audience to participate in this level. It's not always going to be a home run, right? There's always going to be maybe a bad egg in the group or someone who's too drunk, but at the end of the day, like it's just the consideration to know that like these are performers servicing a story for you to take you somewhere. So like it's like just don't steal it, don't steal their light, shine, make it shine. You know what I mean?
So we're talking with Justin Fix today, the director behind The Willows. It's an immersive theater experience right here. We're lucky it's apparently North America's biggest live theater show, and it's happening what I want to say this week through the rest of the year. Is that an accurate summary?
Yeah, we're running through the first week of December before we break for the holidays.
I can't possibly encourage you to go enough. So as we continue with the conversation here, just going back for a moment, because you mentioned the audience's role, how much for the performance is it scripted monologue versus improv? Is it 50-50? Is it what's that ratio?
We like kind of say it's like 80-20.
80-80 improv.
80% of it is all scripted.
Oh, script really? I
Yeah,
am
it's a beast. It's
so
like a
impressed
hundred
right
and
now. My
it's like
gosh.
175 pages of script. And then the magic is then through the performance of the transitions to take the questions, feel the thing, and get back to the text. And that is where it really is. It's so impressive for the skillful talent that we have on to how they can weave sort of the fact through the fiction and like still carry and like move the story forward, keep the action moving.
Knowing it's that script we just said makes it infinitely more impressive to me, especially for the performers, because they had to corral cats, if you will, at some points. People weren't quite going where they should have been going. They had to answer questions in character. They had to stay in character. That's so let's talk about the rehearsal process. You talked about the blocking process a little bit about 2 months for the narratives. What's that rehearsal process like?
Yeah, directing this thing was a challenge. When we workshopped this with the original team back in 2017, we had a few more hands on our creative team. And so we were sort of able to kind of get eyes on the show all at one time. But we worked for like 9 weeks on character development, like all family history stuff. And then blocking this thing, it's like you have to really sort of block the show by character. So I have to run the show and block full characters on their individual journeys. And then I have to block the whole show as its entirety. And then we have to block all the transition and connecting moments amongst characters. And then we have to incorporate the gathering of bodies and people guest management. And it is so strong now because we've figured it out. I think coming back to it for this year is impressive because we had to totally refigure it out and we had 2 weeks to do it. Luckily, this cast are badasses and they just know what it takes and then know who they are and they know this world. And so it was just adjusting. And like, even, you came to previews, like that was our third night running that show. Like, with an audience, like, right? Like, this work doesn't work without an audience. So, even in rehearsals, can you imagine what we're actually doing and who we're speaking to and what it feels like because we until we have people in our doors, the world doesn't come alive. So even that idea, that concept of knowing like, oh wow, what a thought. So yeah, I mean, it will only get better because it's like we're just popping off the lid right now, right? We're not even we just got through just four performances. Like we have, we're gearing up for opening weekend right now.
But my gosh, just the opportunities for ticket buyers to both return as well as bring friends for a different experience, as well as companies out there who might want to go, gosh, it's that season. Let's go all have a unique experience. It's going to scar us a little bit in a friendly, fun way. That's really, really interesting.
But we're going to have a shared experience. It's going to
Yes.
be a communal experience. We're going to ask people to put down their phones. We're going to dive ourselves into a story. And again, that's why I'm like, I just wanted to modernize the murder mystery. Everyone thinks they wanted to do like who did it, who did what, and then there's a murder. But like what if the murder didn't happen? Like, what if it was up to you to kind of uncover that murder or that death, right? And so like that's what we're doing. It's just a murder mystery. So yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm like, this show is built for like bring 24 of your best friends because I on as a group, you guys will have a shared experience that only you guys will be able to talk about. And you alone will only be able to talk about the stuff that you experienced. And that is, I think, what rounds out this like that's why I love this work. It's like we say we foster human connection through intimate storytelling. That is what we stand for as a company. That is our principle. That is what we're trying to do. So like as artists, like that's how we can touch hearts. That's how we can like make people be seen. As simple as that. Like we've lost human connection, and this is a way that the in the best way, in the most maybe abstract, weird, strange, sexy, fun way to do that.
The craziest part is all the words you just said absolutely make sense once you've seen the show one time because it is surprisingly sexy. It is naughty. It is scary as hell. It is bonding. Like three people I met there, like we just couldn't stop like talking to each other afterwards because that level of bonding. So congratulations.
Epic, epic.
We're here with Justin Fix, the director of The Willows. Justin, as we're wrapping up, a personal question for you, because what the night of you thanked us at the end for thank you for supporting live theater. What does immersive theater and live theater mean to you as a director? Tell me how it's inspired you.
OMG. Um, I was like a theater kid. Like I grew up on stage. I was like tornado number two in The Wizard of Oz when I was 5 years old, right? Like I grew up in the world. I worked equity theater starting at like age 11. Like it was my family. And I moved out to LA. And I think what I realized is I wanted to be a film kid. And I realized I didn't have any fun on set. Like it like set kind of like didn't have like the heart that theater did, right? That like exchange between audience and like it's at the end of the day, it's like it's entertainment. And I realized like through my background of like hospitality and sales and theater, like and being a lover of Halloween, like I really embraced and I manifested and I worked really damn hard and had a lot of people, as you can see, the Willows is a testament who believed in it. And to know where we came, we've been doing this stuff for 10 years, and I'm just like, can't believe the partners, the IPs, the studios that we've been able to work with. But like at the end of the day, it it's like living out my I still like I'm like, what am I doing? It's like theater the way I would want to do it. It's like really and you've seen stuff like Masquerade that's running in New York right now, like a new spin on Phantom of the Opera. Like we've seen Sleep No More hit it and Love and Trust and like all these major Then She Fell. But all those have like disappeared but they were great introductions and they were all very kind of abstract and told through dance and very dance forward. And I think this is like asking a lot of a guest. And it's like totally to me, it's like a gamified experience where you are an avatar, you have a voice, you have a place, you have an existence, and we honor that and we welcome that. And so to me, it's just been a privilege to sort of put people on stage with us and give people sort of a night that they can be seen or they can just escape or they can just be, you know what I mean? And that's a beautiful gift to give people in this crazy, crazy ass world.
We're finishing up today with Justin Fix, the director of The Willows, one of North America's biggest and best immersive theater experiences. It's here in LA for, let's call it October through the holidays. So as we wrap up, Justin, do me a favor. Give us like the 20-second elevator pitch on why someone should buy a ticket, followed by website, social media, the best ways to like, to follow, to click, to buy a ticket, to learn more. What do you
Oh
have
my
for us?
God, the shameless plug. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Angelinos, storytellers, lovers of the arts, of theater, of film, um, of people. Um, a group of artists has created an incredible story in the most iconic historical property in Los Angeles. And if you want to sort of have the adventure of what it feels like to sort of be on set or be part of a movie or be sort of an avatar in a game, this is it to show up. It's asked a lot of you, be present. Tickets are 250. Yes, what does that give you? It gives you 2 hours of entertainment, drinks, food, and I promise you memories and stories that will last a lifetime. And all your money, right? Like I think that's what's incredible. All your money is supporting artists. It's like supporting performers. It's going into these people's pockets. I can't tell you more. That's what we stress. And you can find us, you can keep up with us. We tell all sorts of different stories, even if you're not into the scary ones. You can keep up with us at jfiproductions.com, or those are our handles at JFI Productions. And we really appreciate your support. And thank you for this conversation ultimately.
Fantastic. Once again, Justin Fix, the director behind The Willows.